The biggest issue that I see is that, when companies are looking for new practices, when you want to know what to do, you don't have a ton of HR people inside to do a bunch of research. You end up going outside to your favorite consultant, and they tell you basically the results of their last benchmarking study, which asks everybody what they do. And, what everybody does is the old way. So there's this conspiracy of kind of this self-reinforcing loop that you don't know what to do. You go to your consultants, and your consultants tell you, do what everybody else does. It's common practice, not best practice. And so I think the biggest thing is it's not that you don't do benchmarking, it's that you just don't do it first. The idea is that there's a lot of good science to advise us here. We need to start paying attention to it. And there's a big evidence-based movement in management, in the management world, but it's not very sophisticated, not very well embedded in organizations. Not like it is in medicine. Medicine became evidence-based 20, 30, 40 years ago, and it's much more evidence-based now. But management, the science is fairly immature in terms of being evidence-based. All you need to do is get out on LinkedIn for 20 minutes, and you'll find that out. So step one is look at the science. There's good science out there, and the science will support a lot of what we're talking about. Teams do better than individuals at the kind of work that we do every day in organizations. We know a lot of this stuff from the science, so we need to kind of find ways to get the science communicated to our leaders. And then we need to find a couple of really enlightened champions in the leadership ranks to take the time to listen and just to reflect on why it is we do things the way we do, despite what we're doing isn't working. And what we're trying, and every year or 2 or 3 years we try something different, it doesn't work either. So, do we want to stay in this kind of loop? And is it really worth trying to fix it to get better? And if we can find a leader or two that's enlightened and is willing to sit still and listen and reflect on a larger system that's holding all these things in place, then we got a chance at maybe doing some experiments or some pilots. I think the great strength behind Agile is this idea of that you can experiment and pilot and see what works and then scale it up. So I think we need to do more experiments and pilots in organizations, see how they work. People are terrified of what might happen if we do things differently. And these pilots and experiments will show that the world doesn't come crashing down, the sky doesn't fall, and that people are going to be just fine. For example, if we do away with individual-based rewards and we move to team-based rewards.